The stars above Andrix 7 looked calm that day. Families walked under the twin suns, markets buzzed with peaceful trade, and children ran across the polished streets of the colony's capital dome. Andrix 7 was a small human colony, far from Earth, peaceful and isolated. It wasn't known for politics or war. It was known for farming, research, and peace. But peace ended in seconds. Without warning, Silver Council drones appeared in the skies. They didn't speak. They didn't explain. They only began to drop black capsules across the surface. Capsules that exploded in blue fire and vaporized everything nearby. Within minutes, buildings collapsed, forests burned, and entire neighborhoods were gone. No human ship fired back. There were no defenses. Andrix 7 had no army, no weapons, no warning. From orbit, Council Commander Terrell watched through a holoscreen, expression cold. Operation complete, a robotic voice confirmed. Civilian population neutralized. Colony erased. Terrell turned and gave a simple order. Mark the zone secure. Let this be a reminder to the humans. They obey or they vanish. When news reached Earth, the world didn't understand at first. Andrix 7 wasn't a military base. It wasn't even near Council war zones. Why would the Galactic Council attack it? The answer came through a brief message from the Council. Unauthorized sheltering of rebel species was detected. Council law was broken. Judgment was carried out. But Earth's scans showed no signs of rebel activity. No threats, no weapons, just families, scientists, children. It didn't feel like justice. It felt like a message. The president of the Unified Earth Alliance stood before the cameras, his face hard. Behind him were human generals, scientists, and even alien allies. Earth had always followed the Council's rules. Humanity had joined the Council after its first interstellar war, choosing peace instead of rebellion. They shared technology. They accepted restrictions. But this was murder. The president spoke clearly. To the Galactic Council, you have made a mistake. We were quiet because we believed in peace. We followed your rules to avoid war. But today you crossed the line. You didn't just attack a colony, you attacked our people. And humanity never forgets. A day later, a strange signal spread across every major system in the galaxy. It didn't come from Earth's normal channels. It wasn't traceable, it simply appeared. The message was short, written in human English, then translated into every alien language. We were peaceful. You chose war. The signal ended with the symbol of Earth, a blue-white globe surrounded by 12 silver stars. But the stars turned red, one by one. No more words followed, but everyone understood. Humanity was done waiting in Nuai. The Galactic Council Hall, the alien leaders gathered. The council was made up of powerful species, older, larger, more advanced than humans. They had ruled the stars for centuries. Some laughed at the signal. Let them bark, one ambassador said. What can one species do? But others weren't so sure. Admiral Hroth, a war veteran from the Zarn Empire, leaned forward. You've forgotten what they are, he warned. They are Deathworlders. You gave them rules because you feared them. Now you've pushed them too far. Another replied, they're still outnumbered, still outgunned. Hroth only said, we'll see. Back on Earth, something had changed. Factories once used for trade now built warships. Old AI battle systems were reactivated. Deep under the oceans, hidden fleets powered up for the first time in a century. Humanity didn't scream. It didn't rush into war. It prepared. The military, leaders called it Wrath Protocol. Old files were opened. Designs never used before were tested. Ships with stealth systems, advanced weapons, and AI commanders were launched into deep space. No one knew where they were going. Even Earth's allies didn't get details. Only this was clear. Humanity wasn't planning to defend. It was planning to punish. Out in deep space, in the Kuiper sector, a Council patrol ship drifted near a quiet nebula. It had been searching for rebel signals, just routine scanning. Suddenly, one of the crew shouted, "Unknown contact. Right behind us. How? No warp signature, nothing. Before they could respond, a black shape passed above them. It didn't match any known ship design. It didn't fire, it just hovered, and then vanished. The crew sent a warning back to Council HQ, but there was no reply. 30 minutes later, the patrol ship went dark. Back at the Council's central command, strange reports began to pour in. Trade station in Sector 9 reporting human ships. No response to hails. A weapons facility near. The border has gone dark. No sign of battle, but all systems offline. Civilian transports rerouting. Fear of retaliation rising. In less than a week, more than 10 Council outposts had gone silent. The Council didn't understand how. No official war had started. No open attack. Just silence. But those who studied Earth's military history understood. This was the calm before the storm. On the edge of human space, a massive fleet assembled. Not all ships were visible. Some used cloaking. Others stayed hidden in asteroid fields, but the message was clear. The line had been crossed, and now humanity was ready to show the galaxy something it hadn't shown in a long time. Its rage, and when that rage exploded, the galaxy would never be the same. Trade routes near human space became empty. Council ships that once passed freely through the outer colonies now avoided those paths. Communications were filled with rumors. Human ships appearing and vanishing without a trace. Patrol fleets going silent. Space stations being shut down. Yet no war had been declared. No official battle had begun. Still, everyone knew something was coming. Inside the Galactic Council's high tower, the atmosphere was tense. The tall chamber, once filled with loud debates and proud speeches, was now full of silence and nervous glances. Each ambassador from dozens of species waited to hear a plan, but there was none. Ambassador Velra of the Kralin race stood up. "This silence from Earth is not weakness," she said. "It is planning. Andrix 7 was not a simple colony, it was a test, and we failed. Many disagreed. Others stayed quiet." One council member asked, "If humanity wants revenge, why haven't they attacked openly?" Velra looked at him with calm fear in her eyes. "Because humans don't rush into battle. They prepare it." Meanwhile, deep in human-controlled space, Earth's hidden fleet grew. Massive starships designed decades ago but never used were being launched. Engineers worked around the clock. AI warbrains once sealed after peace treaties were reactivated. And under the ice of Europa, an old research project, the Vanguard Protocol, was completed. This new generation of ships did not need constant command. They could think, predict, strike before the enemy even saw them. Humanity wasn't just building weapons, it was creating a force of judgment. In a small council outpost on the planet Therix, the crew began noticing strange things. Equipment malfunctioned. Surveillance systems glitched. Messages took longer to send. At first, they thought it was a system failure. Then one of the guards saw it, a black shape in the sky. It hovered silently above the base for 3 minutes. No sound, no lights, and then it vanished. Later that night, the base lost power. Every screen turned black. The command center panicked. But nothing attacked. Instead, the station received a message, short and cold. "We see you. You are not forgotten." In council media, panic spread. Reporters from many planets began asking questions the council had no answers for. Why is Earth silent? What really happened at Andrix 7? Are we at war or are we being hunted? The council tried to calm the public. They released soft statements about diplomatic discussions and investigating Earth's silence. But behind closed doors, they were scared. Reports showed that Earth's older colonies were now fully armed. New warp gates had been built in secret. Human supply lines were moving fast and quiet. It was no longer a question of if they would strike, it was a question of when. On a distant moon called Serova 3, a council fleet arrived to investigate a mining operation that had gone silent. They found the facility untouched, no sign of attack, no damage. But every computer had been wiped, every record gone. In the command center, someone had left a message scratched into the wall. "You should have protected the children." The captain of the council ship looked at it and froze. That line wasn't just about Andrix 7. It was a warning, a promise. At the edge of the galaxy, strange events continued. Human scout ships appeared in places thought unreachable. A council weapons factory, hidden inside an asteroid, exploded from the inside. No ship was seen nearby. Rumors began to grow. Some said Earth had developed weapons that could pass through matter. Others whispered that human AI had become something more, something alive. Whatever the truth was, one thing became clear to all species. Humanity was not playing by the old rules anymore. In the capital world of the Council, a secret emergency meeting was held. Admiral Kothak, a war-hardened leader from the Altari Dominion, stood in front of the chamber and said, "The humans are not striking yet because they want us to fear. And it is working." He opened a map, showing dozens of council sectors. These red dots are stations and ships that have gone silent in the last 6 days. No signals, no distress calls, just silence. And in every case, one common factor: they were involved in enforcing the Andrix 7 operation. Gasps filled the room. The message was now understood. Humans weren't just attacking, they were targeting everyone who had been part of the crime. Back on Earth, the president of the Unified Alliance met with top leaders in a secure chamber deep underground. Hologram showed the galaxy map with several points marked. "We are not seeking to conquer," he said, "but the Council must learn. We are not weak. We are not blind. We warned them before. They didn't listen. So now, we will act. Not with chaos, with precision." Beside him, the lead AI commander of the new fleet spoke. "Our ships are ready. Every strike will be controlled. No innocents, only those responsible, and those who protect them." On a small neutral planet, a merchant alien named Rico told his customers, "Do not trust the quiet. Humans don't yell when they're angry. They whisper. Then they strike." Rico had traded with humans once. He respected them. He had seen both their kindness and their capability for destruction. If the Council thinks it can cover what it did, it doesn't know what it's dealing with. In the final moments of Part 2, a new message appears, this time from a hidden human broadcast. It shows faces, human children who once lived on Andrix 7, smiling, laughing, now gone. Then a voice speaks, calm and serious. The first strike came without warning. It wasn't a loud explosion or a giant fleet attacking. It was the sudden disappearance of 3 full Council war fleets guarding the Bezar trade route. Over 2,000 ships gone. No distress signal. No survivors, no wreckage. The only clue was a final message from one of the ships before it vanished. "We see black shapes in the distance. Too fast. There." Then silence. The Galactic Council tried to hide it at first, but the truth leaked out within hours. Across the stars, the footage spread. Satellite recordings captured brief flashes of strange human vessels. Fast, silent, and unlike anything seen before. Some had no visible engines. Some bent light around them. Some moved like shadows through space. The Council called it terrorism, but the galaxy knew better. Humanity had arrived. In a war room deep within the Earth's moon, the human generals watched the feeds. Maps changed in real time. Red dots disappeared. Council military bases, guard posts, weapon depots, all destroyed one by one. Yet no civilian targets were harmed. Humanity wasn't attacking for territory. It was punishing the guilty. General Rourke, a calm but stern man, looked over the results. "We've hit 12 priority targets in 4 days, his aide said. "Any losses?" "None, sir. Not even a scratch." Rourke nodded. "Good. Let the Council feel fear like we felt grief." In Council space, panic took root. Ambassadors who once demanded strict control over Earth now begged for talks. Some planets closed their spaceports and locked down cities. On the Council's private networks, secret calls were made. Have we awakened something we can't control? But there was no one to answer. Earth refused to speak. On a desert planet called Gorath, the Council had built a high-tech weapons lab hidden under the sands. It was protected by energy shields, robot guards, and elite soldiers. But that didn't stop the humans. One night, without warning, the shield collapsed. Lights flickered. A deep rumbling shook the base. When the guards ran outside, they saw nothing, just the stars. Then, the base's power shut down. One by one, systems failed. Few moments later, a hole appeared in the ceiling, cut cleanly, silently. Black-armored humans dropped down, moved like ghosts, and disabled every soldier without killing anyone. They walked to the main vault, placed a single small device, and walked out. The entire weapons lab vanished in white light, erased completely. No, one died. No civilians were nearby, but the message was clear. We can reach anywhere. We choose who lives. Council news networks tried to calm the public. Earth is overreacting. This is a temporary conflict. We still have more ships, more allies. But those words meant nothing. Because every day, another fleet was gone. Another secret base was lost, and no one could stop it. Then came the message that changed everything. A human general appeared on every screen across dozens of planets. Not a broadcast from Earth, but a hacked feed impossible to trace. He stood in silence for a moment, then spoke. We gave you rules. We followed yours. We joined your council in peace. Andrix 7 was not an accident. It was murder. Your lies will not protect you anymore. He held up a child's toy. Damaged. Burned. This belonged to my daughter. She died on Andrix 7. She was 7 years old. We are not monsters. We do not want war. But we will no longer sit in silence while you erase our people. This is not revenge. This is justice. Then the screen went black. No one dared speak. In the shadows, many species began to whisper. Some remembered how the humans first entered the galaxy, how they survived a death world called Earth, how they learned fast, adapted faster, and never forgot a wound. Others began to secretly send messages to Earth. We are sorry for what happened. We want peace. We do not stand with the Council. Earth didn't reply, but the messages were noted. Humanity wasn't just showing strength, it was changing the balance of power. In the Council's emergency chamber, leaders argued, they are destroying our fleets. We must strike Earth. Directly. No, that would be suicide. Admiral Kothak, once a loud supporter of strict laws on humans, now looked defeated. They don't fight like us. They don't think like us. We expected a war. But this is a lesson. Velra, of the Krelin, added, we thought humans feared us, but we were wrong. They feared becoming like us, and now we've shown them what we are. On a lonely council outpost in Sector Vard 12, a young soldier named Lero sat by the window, looking at the stars. He had grown up hearing tales of human kindness, how they helped rebuild planets, how they saved species from extinction. He didn't understand how those same people could now destroy fleets without blinking. But then he remembered the news, the burning of Andrix 7, the children, the silence. And he said quietly to himself, maybe this is what happens when good people are pushed too far. In a final scene, a black human ship hovered near a council command post. It didn't attack. It didn't speak. It simply opened a communication window and showed a list, names, titles, and coordinates. Everyone on that list had one thing in common. They had approved the Andrix 7 operation. The message ended with one sentence. A galaxy was on edge. Planets held their breath. Ships waited silently in orbit. Everyone knew something big was coming, but no one was ready. Meanwhile, in the quiet city of Eris Prime, on a neutral world, a journalist named Mira Delan worked tirelessly. Mira was known for her courage. She had uncovered many truths hidden by governments. But this story was bigger than anything she had ever faced. Mira's sources whispered rumors about the Andrix 7 incident. They said the Council had lied, that the colony was innocent. that the whole attack was a secret punishment, designed to scare humans and stop them from growing stronger. Mira needed proof, and she was close. In a secret vault beneath the Council's Central Archives, ancient files waited to be forgotten. Mira's contact, a Council defector named Jorak, had risked everything to bring her access to these files. Together, they uncovered data logs, mission reports, and communications. They showed clearly that the Andrix 7 colony had no rebels. The Council had fabricated evidence. The operation had been planned in secret to crush humanity's spirit. The files showed messages from high-ranking Council members. Destroy the colony swiftly. Send a message to Earth, no exceptions. We must keep our power at any cost. Mira leaked the files to the galaxy. Within hours, news networks on hundreds of worlds broadcast the truth. Aliens from many species were shocked. Some cried. Others were angry. Protests erupted. Council embassies were attacked by angry crowds. In some planets, governments were overthrown by citizens who no longer trusted their leaders. The Council tried to silence the broadcasts. But it was too late. The truth was free. The Galactic Council was thrown into chaos. Ambassador Velra spoke openly. We are losing control. Our lies are exposed. The galaxy sees us for what we are. The Council tried to explain. They called it a necessary military operation against threats to peace. But no one believed them. Back on Earth, the President watched the news with a quiet expression. He knew this was their chance. For years, Earth had waited for justice. Now the galaxy's eyes were open. In a global address, the President said, "The truth will set us free. We do not seek war, but we will defend our honor and our people. The Council has lied, and the galaxy deserves better." Several species reached out to Earth in secret. The Zari from the Outer Rim sent envoys. The Mornath mercenaries offered their ships. Even some Council members quietly offered help. Earth did not accept open alliances yet. But these secret contacts made it clear. Humanity's cause was becoming a galaxy-wide movement. Meanwhile, Jorak, the defector who leaked the files, was hunted by Council agents. He barely escaped assassination attempts, but he kept moving, sharing more secrets with Mira. He revealed how the Council used fear and control to keep peace for centuries, how they crushed any species that grew too powerful, and how humans had been warned many times to stay small. On the Council's homeworld, a secret meeting took place. The oldest and most powerful leaders gathered to discuss the growing rebellion. One elder said, "They have awakened the galaxy's anger. Soon, we will not be able to hide behind lies." Another replied, "We must show strength or be destroyed." But Admiral Kothak, once loyal to the Council, said, "Strength without truth is weakness. The people want justice, not fear." On many worlds, people looked to Earth with hope. They saw a species that had been wronged, but now stood tall. They saw a symbol of resistance. A young alien girl whispered to her mother, "Do you think humans will save us?" Her mother nodded slowly. "They may save us from the darkness." As the galaxy prepared for what was to come, a new message was sent by Earth. Not a threat, but a promise. The truth had shattered the Council's power. Planets once loyal now questioned their leaders. Systems that had stayed silent began to speak out. Some even sent secret messages to Earth, offering support. But the Council refused to give up. They gathered their strongest fleets, weapons, and soldiers. They prepared to fight back. On Earth, the leaders watched the news with careful eyes. They knew the Council would not surrender easily, but Earth was ready. Using the help of defectors like Jorak, humanity learned many of the Council's secrets: hidden supply routes, secret bases, and communication hubs. The human fleet set course for these targets, striking swiftly and with precision. The first attack was on the Council's communication hub in the Sirius system. The base was heavily guarded, shielded by strong energy barriers and protected by elite troops. But human ships did not rush in blindly. Using advanced stealth technology, small teams slipped inside undetected. They disabled defenses and planted EMP charges. Within minutes, the entire hub went dark. No civilians were harmed. No unnecessary damage was done. The message was clear: we strike only those who hide lies and lies only. Across the galaxy, Council soldiers found themselves surrounded. Supply lines were cut. Secret intelligence bases were destroyed. Every attack was surgical. Every target was chosen carefully. Refugees from Council oppression joined the humans. They shared knowledge, weapons, and hope. What began as humanity's fight became a galaxy-wide rebellion. In the Council's halls, panic grew. Ambassador Velra screamed at the leaders, "We are losing control. Our fleets are crushed. Our lies are exposed. The galaxy turns against us." But the Council elders refused to admit defeat. One said, "We will strike Earth directly, crush their homeworld, and this rebellion ends." Admiral Kothak shook his head. "That is madness. It will unite them all against us. We must find another way." In a quiet room on Earth's capital, the president made a difficult decision. "We do not want to destroy the Council. We want justice. We want peace." He turned to his commanders. "Prepare for the final phase. We will land on the Council's capital, not to fight, but to show the galaxy a new way." The human fleet approached the Council capital, a shining city planet known as Vetra Prime. The Council's strongest fleets waited in orbit, ready for battle. But the human ships did not fire. They landed quietly. As human troops moved through the Council streets, citizens watched in shock. No violence. No damage. A human commander, Captain Marin, walked into the Council chamber. He placed a small box on the floor. Inside were files, recordings, and evidence of the Council's crimes, massacres, lies, and betrayals. The galaxy watched as the truth was laid bare. The Council leaders could not deny the evidence. Slowly, they were forced to answer for every sin. The people demanded change. On the steps of the Council chamber, a new leader spoke for humanity. "We do not come as conquerors. We come as partners. Together we can build a galaxy where truth and respect rule." The truth had shattered the Council's power. Planets once loyal now questioned their leaders. Systems that had stayed silent began to speak out. Some even sent secret messages to Earth offering support, but the Council refused to give up. They gathered their strongest fleets, weapons, and soldiers. They prepared to fight back. On Earth, the leaders watched the news with careful eyes. They knew the Council would not surrender easily, but Earth was ready. Using the help of defectors like Jorak, humanity learned many of the Council's secrets: hidden supply routes, secret bases, and communication hubs. The human fleet set course for these targets, striking swiftly and with precision. The first attack was on the Council's communication hub in the Sirius system. The base was heavily guarded, shielded by strong energy barriers and protected by elite troops, but human ships did not rush in blindly. Using advanced stealth technology, small teams slipped inside undetected. They disabled defenses and planted EMP charges. Within minutes, the entire hub went dark. No civilians were harmed. No unnecessary damage was done. The message was clear: we strike only those who hide lies and lies only. Across the galaxy, Council soldiers found themselves surrounded. Supply lines were cut. Secret intelligence bases were destroyed. Every attack was surgical. Every target was chosen carefully. Refugees from Council oppression joined the humans. They shared knowledge, weapons, and hope. What began as humanity's fight became a galaxy-wide rebellion. In the Council's halls, Panic grew. Ambassador Velra screamed at the leaders, "We are losing control. Our fleets are crushed. Our lies are exposed. The galaxy turns against us." But the council elders refused to admit defeat. One said, "We will strike Earth directly, crush their homeworld, and this rebellion ends." Admiral Kothak shook his head. "That is madness. It will unite them all against us. We must find another way." In a quiet room on Earth's capital, the president made a difficult decision. "We do not want to destroy the council. We want justice. We want peace." He turned to his commanders. "Prepare for the final phase. We will land on the council's capital, not to fight, but to show the galaxy a new way." The human fleet approached the council capital, a shining city planet known as Vetra Prime. The council's strongest fleets waited in orbit, ready for battle. But the human ships did not fire. They landed quietly. As human troops moved through the council's streets, citizens watched in shock. No violence. No damage. A human commander, Captain Marin, walked into the council chamber. He placed a small box on the floor. Inside were files, recordings, and evidence of the council's crimes, massacres, lies, and betrayals. The galaxy watched as the truth was laid bare. The council leaders could not deny the evidence. Slowly, they were forced to answer for every sin. The people demanded change. On the steps of the council chamber, a new leader spoke for humanity. "We do not come as conquerors. We come as partners. Together we can build a galaxy where truth and respect rule."